Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to dig into something really fascinating, a decade-long journey by one community to really master the art of constructive conflict. Their story is an incredible guide for all of us on how to disagree, well, better. They started with this huge question, one that I think we all deal with, right? Whether it's at work or with our own families. How do you handle conflict without everything just falling apart? So their first big breakthrough, and this is huge, was to completely reframe the goal itself. They figured out that trying to get rid of conflict altogether, that was actually part of the problem. Instead, they discovered that real harmony, the good stuff, comes from actually engaging with disagreement. It's all about turning that friction into a source of strength and even creativity. Okay, so let's dive into that. What does this true harmony even mean? Because the community made a really crucial distinction here. Okay, check this out. It's this idea of superficial unity versus true harmony. Think about it. Superficial unity is that, polite, kind of fragile piece where nobody talks about the elephant in the room. But true harmony, that's totally different. It's built on a deep respect for each other, especially when you disagree, and seeing those disagreements as a chance to grow. Now that sounds amazing, right? But let's be honest. If true harmony is so much better, why do so many of us just default to avoiding conflict? Well, the group came up with a few reasons that I bet these are going to sound pretty familiar to you. You've got that general anxiety about any kind of confrontation. Then there's just the pattern of kicking the can down the road on tough issues. And, of course, that big one, the fear of being judged or totally misunderstood. And I love this part. They admitted, with a bit of a laugh, that sometimes the biggest roadblock is, well, it's us. It's our own certainty that we're the ones who are right. I mean, it's always the other person who's the stubborn one, right? Never us. So, okay, they had a really clear view of the problem. But they didn't just sit there. No, they started building a practical toolkit, like actual steps for how to do this, how to have those hard conversations. And the key thing here, the thing that changes everything, is that it all starts with your own mindset. Step 1, practice humility. Just entertain the idea that you might be mistaken. That alone is a game changer. Step 2, listen to understand, not just to reply. You're not just waiting for your turn to talk. You're actually trying to get where they're coming from. And finally, number 3, include other troops. Your perspective isn't the whole picture. You've got to broaden your vision to see their piece of the puzzle too. Now, for the really tough, tangled up issues, they have this amazing tool called a clearness committee. Get this, it's a small group of trusted people you invite, but here's the twist. They're not allowed to give you advice at all. Their only job is to listen deeply and ask you open-ended questions. Questions like, what's really at stake for you here? They don't solve the problem for you. They create this super focused, safe space where you can find the clarity to solve it for yourself. Pretty powerful, huh? So they had the tools, they had the techniques, but they found that the real power, the thing that makes all of this actually work, was something deeper. It was a fundamental shift in how they saw other people. And here it is. This is the core of it. They might have used the phrase that of God or the light, but it's this universal idea, a commitment to believe that there is something of worth, something valuable in every single person. And here's the hard part. You have to believe that even when that person is driving you completely up the wall. That's the real test. And there's this one story that just illustrates this perfectly. It's an incredible lesson that came from a member of their community who is incarcerated in the Nebraska State Penitentiary. Talk about living this challenge in the most extreme way you can possibly imagine. So he's forced to share a tiny cell with someone new, someone really difficult, and he's just tested every single day. He's struggling with all this frustration and impatience, caught in that classic bind. Do I stand up for myself or do I try to keep the peace? And this quote, this is what he landed on. Wow. What a powerful image, right? You can let that fire of anger and resentment just sit there simmering, poisoning everything around you. Or you can make a conscious choice to put it out with peace. And that doesn't mean you let people walk all over you. It just means you choose resolution instead of letting that rage burn inside you forever. Okay, so after all this time, after years of practice, developing the tools, shifting their whole mindset, learning from each other, what was the payoff? What does this hard-won harmony actually look and feel like? They landed on the absolute perfect metaphor for it, a symphony. See, real harmony isn't a solo. It's not about everyone singing the exact same note. I mean, how boring would that be? No, true harmony is a symphony. The beauty, the richness, it all comes from blending all these different and diverse voices together to create something amazing. And really, that leaves us with a question for our own lives, doesn't it? In your world, whose voice is needed to complete the harmony? Who do you need to listen to, maybe a little more closely, to make your own symphony richer and more complete?